Tough one there. Tough one. Disappointing. We needed to win that one to get where we wanted to go. Started off hot, and we just stutter too much. And when we stutter, it snowballs, and it's the same story that I've said 9 million times. I got to get a lot better. Kids were prepared. We just need to finish. Gameplay. The game came down to the 4th and 6 throw up ball that they caught a fade, and then the QB sneaked to win it at the end. Proud of our effort, but we're just not there yet. So let's go questions.
How big was that muff punt? I think early in the game where I think you guys were up 14 or 17-0, and then that seemed like that kind of turned the tide a little bit into
Yeah.
the second quarter.
Yeah, that's kind of just where we're at. We play really well, we play really bad, and had a chance to go up big and muffed one. They got an easy touchdown out of that. Other than that, the first half they had one other drive for a touchdown. Defense I thought played pretty well. We just got too banged up and couldn't hold up long enough. Hats off to New Mexico and their quarterback. He's a heck of a player. We knew that going in, and they just made more plays at the end than we did.
After they stuffed the QB sneak, was there any thought at all as to letting them score quickly?
Yeah, that's as soon as they got the first down, we accidentally tackled them after they broke that, but then the next play that was a let them score type deal to give our offense time back. Worked out, but I mean we shouldn't have been in that situation.
Coach, how disappointed are you? Just like you mentioned, you guys need to win this game for game to go. Obviously, that didn't happen.
I think I'm most disappointed for this fan base. I mean, they deserve so much better, and they're not getting it. And players are working their tails off, man. We're trying our butts off. I know we're down a lot of bodies, but at the end of the day, no one cares. It's a result business, and we just don't have the results right now. So it is disappointing. At the same time, we do have a lot of season left, so we gotta get back out there on Sunday and get back going.
Coach Dryland, how much more difficult did it make it an end game with Jalen obviously rolls up?
Yeah. That's just where we're at. Yeah, he's all banged up. He had a couple different injuries he fought through, so makes it tough to go 80 without one of the best players in the country. But just unfortunate.
New Mexico's struggled in the run defense, and you guys struggled to pick up yards through the ground. You did have the breakout run from Herschel Turner. What was New Mexico doing that kind of hampered you guys? Where you guys have normally been strong?
Yeah, I don't know. I would spend most of the time watching watching defense and watching the video. So I'd have to answer that next week.
Kind of following up on Herschel, he had his notable breakout touchdown run, but he also had a couple plays where he just powered through the defense. Just curious what thoughts you have on him, his growth as a true freshman.
Isn't he awesome? He's going to be so special for this place. And then I've said this before, but if you actually get around him, he's an even better person than he is player. He has a chance to play for a long time. And he is what this team needs. He has unbelievable energy every single day, always smiling. He's someone that Aggie Nation should be very proud of.
You guys forced more turnovers today than you had previous weeks. Was there anything different that you guys think of like?
Just made a play, right? Had three interceptions. Helps when Brock Lane's out there. He catches the ball almost every time. So that's very rarely do you lose a game where you win the turnover battle, and we managed to do that. So kind of where we're at. We just don't finish. We don't execute at high enough level, and things sputter, and we can't finish late.
I want to ask about John Miller. He banged up a linebacker. Seems he's had to step up, play more snaps. But I think 3 tackles for loss, pair of sacks.
Yeah.
Just tell me about his performance.
Good for him. That's awesome to see. You know, he's a guy that came over from Oregon State that wasn't playing much and wanted to have an impact. Didn't end up starting here, but with injuries, his time came and he took the most of it. So he is a extremely tough worker. You know, without Clyde Washington, Clyde is kind of if you lose your Mike linebacker, that's tough. That's kind of your heartbeat of your defense, right? So he came in not only stats wise, but even more importantly, just to keep that vibe of mental toughness.
Is Clyde? What is his situation? Is it a long-term thing? Or
Yeah, he's out. He's out for the season with a knee injury.
And Cole Motes as well. I think he missed this game.
He should be back next week. He had an injury last week and just wasn't quite ready yet. So he should be back next week, which would be good.
Other than the interception right ahead, another really good passing game for Spencer. How do you kind of see him weather the storm, playing well, also just kind of through the team-wide struggles?
He's doing awesome, and that's what happens when someone's that mentally tough. What happens around him has no relevance on how you perform, right? I mean, he's one of the most strong-minded people I've ever been around, and so whether we're up by 50 or down by 50, does not matter for Spencer. He's going to go compete his butt off, make sure that offense is clicking. Proud of him, man. I hope the best for him.
I think you
guys are clearly getting much better play out of your offense and defense as the season goes on. A lot of guys on offense today had career days for them, and defense is getting a lot of pressure and tackle for losses. So how do you turn that into consistent four-quarter football that can translate into some wins?
Man, I wish I had that answer. It's always come down to something different, right? Last couple weeks, been turnovers. Today it came down to third down. They were UNM was 10 of 15 on third down, and they stayed on the field long enough. And as you guys know, a game comes down to 3 or 4 plays, and we did not finish those plays. So we are getting better, right? It's just the problem is we have so long to go to catch up with everyone else. So it'll be a fun game versus Wyoming next week. A hard-nosed team that's going to be well coached. So got to get back on track for soon.
What was it about UNM's quarterback? It seemed like he was able to gain.
Yeah, he's special. He is.
What was it about his game that?
He is very elusive, as you guys could see. But I think even more importantly, he can throw the heck out of the ball, and he can sling it. So it turns to backyard football, and when it does, he's probably better than anybody in the country. So we knew going into the game it was going to come down to keeping him tackled, keeping him in the box, and making sure they don't have deep balls late. We had the pass interference in the end zone on one of them. And then obviously the fourth down play that pretty much won them the game at the end. So we got to finish tackle a little bit better, but he's a heck of a player.
What are your emotions right now?
I mean, frustration. We just played a game where we were, leading the game and came out under. We lost. So frustrated. It's not anybody's fault but ourselves. So that's what we got to look at in the mirror.
Where do you guys, kind of go from here, emotionally as far as just going back to the drawing board? You've had 3 straight games where you give up 50 points. Just what do you guys got to do at this point to turn things around and turn some of the positives you've done into more results?
Yeah, I think we just got to reflect on the game film. Obviously what we've been doing the past few weeks hasn't been working, and that's a player issue. That's a pride issue. We're playing for pride. Who are you when nobody's looking, nobody cares anymore? Who are you? I think that's one of the things we need to do to understand what we're going to do.
You guys had 3 interceptions today as a defense. Like, aside from that, what else do you feel like from this performance you can build on positively going forward?
I think we tackled well half of the game. I think we built on that. Block destruction was good. Just overall getting to the ball, we had good pursuit. I think we need to, like Coach Dryland said, we need to go ahead and finish tackles. Number 4 had a good day. He was hard to, contain. So I think we can get that done. Make sure we do our jobs. We'll be all right.
John, how much maybe of a relief is it going to be to not face an extremely elusive quarterback next week? You had that back-to-back weeks now.
I'm here to play football. I don't really care who's back there. So at the end of the day, if it's number 4, if it's Spencer Petras, that's that.
How difficult do you think it's been for you guys as a group to feel like you guys are improving little by little, but the results are coming?
It's very difficult. Everyone wants to see results. You play football, you want to see wins, you want to see stats and all that stuff. But I think, sometimes you got to take the small wins and you got to do that. But we're at a position right now where we can't afford small wins. We need wins. And I think that's kind of where we're sitting at right now.
What's the emotions like when you fall 1-6? Like, how kind of frustrating is it being at this point in the season?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating, upsetting after all the work we put in. Yeah.
Clearly you guys are getting better, right? Because a lot of the players on offense today had career days. You guys had the best scoring game of the season, so the improvements are there. How do you think it starts translating to results?
Yeah, we just gotta keep working and stick together as a team. Hopefully things will get better.
In all of these past weeks, to actually to stick together as a team and not get into some bigger fights that maybe other teams might?
No, we know it's nobody to blame. We all got to get better. We can't point fingers at nobody. The offense, we could have did a lot better today as well. We made a lot of mental errors that we know we can't make and afford to make. So yeah, we can't. We know we just got to stick together and just keep going.
right now. What do you think? What do you think is the biggest thing that's missing right now that's going to make a difference between a close loss and a breakthrough win?
I feel like we just can't be satisfied when we're up. Like we got to keep going and be able to finish, and not take the gas off of teams. Like not take our foot off the gas when we're up. Because I feel like we get up and we get too high. We got to be able to keep a balance and not get too low, not get too high, and just keep grinding until the game's over.